What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and this is going to be very quick. I'm just going to go into today's picks, and we're not playing them all again, and it's for two reasons. One, as I said in last night's video, honestly, going through our notes, we have about one leg or two leg threes since the beginning of the log that are currently open. So, when we got 7 or 8 of them, then we got to close them. That's what we've been doing. When you got 10 or so, like 2 we haven't closed, it's important we close. We've closed them all. So we do have a couple heading to leg 2, and I think we have literally one leg 3, maybe 2 leg 3s. So that's really good, which means most of these, we're not going to have to play them leg 2, 3s. I mean, you can, but if you have your own open sequences. But anyway, we do have some that obviously missed yesterday and some that missed leg 1. And as I said, there are a couple leg 3s, but they're not going to be used until tomorrow because tomorrow is College Saturday, my absolute favorite day. So this one's nothing crazy. First one, I like the Pacers. It's the same reason that I went into my playoffs and people said I was nuts, and maybe I am, but I genuinely have Suns, Blazers, Wolves, Warriors, and many other teams flipping the Kings. I think I have the Kings finishing 11th. People said I was nuts. I said I might say that they could finish as a play-in, but not much more. And I'm holding to that. I don't think they finish as a top 6. I think we're going to continue to see them get flipped until they're basically in the bottom seeds because they're not a draw. And yes, I know you don't have to be a draw, but they're also not like the Cavs where they're presented as a good team. They're being presented like the Jazz were, like the Pacers, like a talented team. They got Fox, yeah, Sabonis is doing good. But really, they're not Blazers material. They're not Wolves level. And the NBA knows that. And the NBA does basically put all draws in if you haven't noticed. And I think they made the mistake of putting them in last year, and I think this year they're going to realize, yeah, Blazers, Clippers, those teams are the draws. You can see they already realized that with the Clippers. So I'll take the Pacers. I'll take the points as a backup. I think they make a run for the play-in, but lose out to the Wizards. I think the Wizards are, more of a draw, more money in that team. But I do think the Pacers do cover tonight. And speaking of Wizards, I'm going to go with the Blazers. They need to win more. They're going up against a team that, yes, it's a good team, but no one's real buying them. Whereas people could actually buy the Blazers. Secondly, I think the public is just fading the Blazers. Maybe not against the Wizards, but they're not hitting them like people think. Or like I think, because there's a lot of spreads this year we caught because I'm like, oh, the Blazers are getting 6. It looks like a trap. And it just turned out the public was fading them. So I like the Blazers here to cover. I think they have to get, like I said, about 4 games above 500. They'll finish as like a 8 seed or something like that. It is what I believe. And then we got the Suns, Celtics. I'm going to go with the Celtics on this one. 9 points is always steep, even without Devin Booker, even if the Suns have been looking pretty bad. So I do like Boston to cover that 9 points. They just covered 9 against the Nets. Well, they covered more than 9, but so we're taking them again. So I think that right now they're trying to present Boston as a steamroll team, kind of like how the Bucks and the Suns were presented last year. If you look at the records, the Celtics are just a runaway right now for both divisions, and I think they're doing that on purpose. And they're doing it with the Nuggets too in the West, but it's more so the Celtics. I think Bill Russell has something to do with that. I know it sounds unrealistic with what their record's at. I think they're going to actually finish with 60 wins, for the 6. And so, yeah, I do like the Celtics in that game. But again, for these games, if you can wait for as close to the closing spread as you can, that's always what I do. Now, again, all of these are leg 1s, just so you know. I like the Timberwolves to cover the Magic, just because, some people more might be on Timberwolves. But I do think that there are casualty games. By that, I mean teams where they just need them to look bad so another team can look good. And outside of just beating the Grizz, the Wolves have had a couple moments. But nobody's looking at them right now saying, oh, they're going to make a run. In the NBA, they like to book everybody like WrestleMania. They like everybody to look like they have a chance of winning. So I do expect a couple good games out of the Wolves going forward. And for that same reason, I like the Hawks. I think they're trying to position them as not a play-in team or even just an 8 seed. I think they're trying to position them as even with the Heat, even with all these other teams in the East. Again, outside of the Celtics and Bucks, who are just ahead of everybody. So I do like Again, all leg ones. Hawks, Wolves. We're not going to play the Raptors, Rockets, just because I think it can go either way. Blazers, these are all covers, by the way, as close to the closing line as you can get. Celtics, and I like the Pacers, all covers. Now, for college, there's one player playing, and it's the St. Peter's. I think it's Maurice they're playing, or Ryder. It's St. Peter's Ryder. I like the over. They play at 5, so that one will be starting the soonest. Literally just the metric I like. They haven't gone over much at all this year, and I think they will. So, St. Peter's Ryder. Right now, it is a 7 o'clock game, okay. Right now, the over is set at 125. I'm going to wait for the closing line and grab that over. And I think we do really good with it. St. Peter's is about 25% on the over. Again, historically, just doesn't hold. I did go back. I can't go. There's so many things I'm doing that going back and checking every little thing. But I can say out of the last 30 college games, we've hit 24, and so 80%. And going back further than that, just glancing, it looks like we're still around that. I don't think we're up below 70% this year. So we'll go into that. 149 concussions, up 18%. These narratives, I swear, Raiders leaving, Carr leaving, we went into that. But yeah, the distractions left and right. We have an arrest for a top running back. Now we're getting concussion talk. Brady retires. Kyrie's being traded. I wonder what they're trying to distract us from. Is it the rig or is it the Mar? Or is it both? But it's interesting. Let's see how obvious they are. Let's see if it's unfortunate because this was so damn old. It was on my old. I put it up on my old channel during last season's finals, and I went into why I believe they were going to trade Kyrie for Russ. You get the 4 brothers back together. You got KD back. If you notice, they've been planting the seeds all year. KD's been, talking about how, Russ isn't that bad. They got to stop throwing him under the bus and things of that nature. And now Kyrie's been kind of corporatized, if that's a word. They got him looking nice. He's looking like a company man. I'm sure they'll shave his beard or something to look a little more trimmed like LeBron's. But outside of that, yeah, he's looking like a real corporate man. I'm sure he gave them a lot of things because they had a lot of leverage on him. Basically, look how easily they cut Rose out of the league. They did not need Kyrie. It's like he had a giant brand on his own, so I'm guessing he paid a major penance. It'll be probably way bigger than McAfee and these guys, just because he's out for 5 games and now he's back and they gave him a run. So you could argue the run was just to trade him, but they wouldn't trade him. Unless he goes to a complete garbage team. But you can see he's told the franchise he wants to be traded. Interesting. They're starting to win, right? And this is the franchise that only suspended him for 5 games when the NBA wanted him out of the league. Why would he ask for a trade? You do something at work and the ethics commissions come in and they say he's got to go. But your job, they say, no, we're going to make sure, we'll make sure nothing happens again. We're going to suspend him for a week. Are you going to tell me that later you're going to turn away? You're going to tell that job, fuck you, I want to leave. You've treated me terribly. Maybe a bad analogy. My point is, if anything, they should want him gone. Just based off of the optics of what they've been talking about, right? The whole thing has been, he's sick to his stomach over this. Then why, when he came back from the 5-day suspension, has he been fine, not said a word since, looked happy? None of it adds up. So again, they're in on this stuff. Kyrie's not the one who wants to be traded. They're just basically, this is the script. We're going to trade Kyrie. We got to find a reason. We can't say he's playing bad. Can't say the team doesn't look good together. All right, we'll say Kyrie wants to be traded. And then we probably get, again, him back with LeBron. But we'll see what happens. And if that really obvious story, that's something they do on Raw and SmackDown, by the way. A guy's on Raw and he finds a reason to go to SmackDown. Just happens to team up with his old friend or something. So I think they're going to pull that here with these 4 guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow got James Harden involved. But we'll see what happens here. And, I'll go into Tom Brady. There's not much to go into. I don't want to cover it just because it's a hot topic. Yeah, he retired. Nobody gives a shit. It's going to be the new Pat Mahomes. But I can go into him if people want me to. If they think I think he's going to come back, what I think he's going to do. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be like Manning, basically. But we'll see what he does. I don't think he's going to do anything nuts. And there is an interesting thing I want to go into. Completely squashing the notion that nobody's come out regarding the NFL, and Brady's a big part of that. He actually has come out and said a force that is 100% not the referees, not the players, is decides how his games were determined. Maybe you guys heard it, maybe you have not. But yeah, that's Brady himself. So I think that's interesting. So that's, again, all the games are 7 or later, but I figured I'd get them out there now so people had some time. And we're doing really good. If you haven't seen my last video, up 80 units. And I intend for that to be over 100 definitely by the Super Bowl. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.